The Louisiana State University is a public coeducational university located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The university was founded in 1853 in what is now known as Pineville, Louisiana, under the name Louisiana State Seminary of Learning and Military Academy. The current LSU main campus was dedicated in 1926. Consists of more than 250 buildings constructed in the style of Italian Renaissance architect Andrea Palladio, and occupies a 650-acre plateau on the banks of the Mississippi River. LSU is the flagship institution of the Louisiana State University System, and the largest institution of higher education in Louisiana in terms of student enrollment. In 2015, the university enrolled over 26,000 undergraduate and over 5,000 graduate students in 14 schools and colleges. Several of LSU's graduate schools, such as the E.J. Auzo College of Business and the Paul M. Hebert Law Center, have received national recognition in the respective fields of study. Designated as a land grant, sea grant and space grant institution, LSU is also noted for its extensive research facilities, operating some 800 sponsored research projects funded by agencies such as the National Institutes of Health, the National Science Foundation, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. LSU's athletics department fields teams in 21 varsity sports, and is a member of the NCAA and the SEC. The university is represented by its mascot, Mike the Tiger. History: 19th century. Louisiana State University Agricultural and Mechanical College had its origin in several land grants made by the United States government in 1806, 1811, and 1827 for use as a seminary of learning. It was founded as a military academy and is still today steeped in military tradition, giving rise to the school's nickname, the Ole War Skull. Quote, in 1853, the Louisiana General Assembly established the Seminary of Learning of the State of Louisiana near Pineville in Rapides Parish in central Louisiana. Modeled initially after Virginia Military Institute, the institution opened with 5 professors and 19 cadets on January 2, 1860, with Colonel William Tecumseh Sherman as superintendent. The original location of the old LSU site is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. On January 26, 1861, after only a year at the helm, Sherman resigned his position because Louisiana became the 6th state to secede from the Union. The school closed on June 30, 1861, with the start of the American Civil War. During the course of the war, the university reopened briefly in April 1863, but was closed once again with the invasion of the Red River Valley by the Union Army. The losses sustained by the institution during the Union occupation were heavy, and after 1863 the seminary remained closed for the remainder of the Civil War. Following the surrender of the Confederates at Appomattox Courthouse on April 9, 1865, General Sherman donated 2 cannons to the institution. These cannons had been captured from Confederate forces after the close of the war and had been used during the initial firing upon Fort Sumter in April 1861. The cannons are still displayed in front of LSU's Military Science, Aerospace Studies building. The seminary officially reopened its doors on October 2, 1865, only to be burned October 15, 1869. On November 1, 1869, the institution resumed its exercises in Baton Rouge, where it has since remained. In 1870, the name of the institution was officially changed to Louisiana State University. Louisiana State University Agricultural and Mechanical College was established by an act of the legislature, approved April 7, 1874, to carry out the United States States Morrill Act of 1862, granting land for this purpose. It temporarily opened in New Orleans, June 1, 1874, where it remained until it merged with Louisiana State University in 1877. This prompted the final name change for the university to the Louisiana State University and Agricultural and Mechanical College. 20th century. On June 7, 1925, Oscar B. Turner, a professor of agronomy, was murdered by an axe-wielding assailant on campus. On April 30, 1926, the present LSU campus was formally dedicated, following the school's history at the Federal Garrison Grounds where it had been located since 1886. Prior to this, LSU utilized the quarters of the Institute for the Deaf, Mute, and Blind. Land for the present campus was purchased in 1918, construction started in 1922, and the move began in 1925. However, it was not until 1932 that the move was finally completed. After some years of enrollment fluctuation, student numbers began a steady increase, new programs were added, curricula and faculty expanded, and a true state university emerged. In 1928, LSU was a small-time country school that generated little interest or attention in the state. Labeled a third-rate institution by the Association of State Universities, the school had only 1,800 students, 168 faculty members, and an annual operating budget of $800,000. In 1930, Huey Pierce Long, Jr., the governor of Louisiana, initiated a massive building program on campus to expand the physical plant and add departments. By 1936, LSU had the finest facilities in the South, a top-notch faculty of 394 professors, a new medical school, more than 6,000 students, and a winning football team. In only 8 years, it had risen in size from 88th in the nation to 20th, and it was the 11th largest state university in the nation. Long financed these improvements by arranging for the state to purchase acreage from the old LSU campus, which adjoined the grounds of the new state capitol building in downtown Baton Rouge. To the consternation of his critics, Long essentially diverted $9 million for LSU's expansion and increased the annual operating budget to $2.8 million. LSU was hit by a scandal in 1939 when James Monroe Smith, appointed by Huey Long as president of LSU, was charged with embezzling $500,000. In the ensuing investigation, at least 20 state officials were indicted. 2 committed suicide as the scandal enveloped Governor Richard W. Lecce, who received a 10-year federal prison sentence as a result of a kickback scheme. Paul M. Hebert, dean of LSU's law school at the time, then assumed interim presidency in Smith's place. During World War II, LSU was one of 131 colleges and universities nationally that took part in the V-12 Navy College Training Program, which offered students a path to a Navy commission. Although some African American students tried to enroll in LSU in 1946, the university did not admit African Americans until the 1950s. In 1953, A. P. Turo, Jr. enrolled under court order, but his enrollment was cancelled when a higher court overturned the ruling. His case was ultimately decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. Turo returned to LSU in 1956. A classroom building on the LSU campus is named for his father, the late A.P. Turo, Sr., a noted civil rights leader. The federal courts mandated full integration for LSU in 1964. The first African-American graduate of the LSU Law School was New Orleans's first African-American mayor, the late Ernest N. Dutch Memorial. In 1969, mandatory ROTC for freshmen and sophomores was abolished. However, LSU continues to maintain Air Force and Army ROTC. In 1978, LSU was named a Sea Grant College, the 13th university in the nation to be so designated. In 1992, the LSU Board of Supervisors approved the creation of the LSU Honors College. 21st century. In the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, LSU accepted an additional 2,300 displaced students from the greater New Orleans area, such as Tulane University, Loyola University New Orleans, Xavier University of Louisiana, and University of New Orleans. In addition to accepting displaced students, university officials also took on the challenge of housing and managing many hurricane victims, converting the Pete Maravich Assembly Center into a fully functional field hospital. Around 3,000 LSU students volunteered during the months after Katrina, assisting with the administration of medical treatment to some 5,000 evacuees and screening another 45,000 for various diseases. In 2013, F. King Alexander was named president of Louisiana State University campus. History. The current LSU campus is located on 2,000 acres just south of downtown Baton Rouge. A majority of the university's 250 buildings, most of which were built between 1925 and 1940, occupy a 650-acre plateau on the banks of the Mississippi River. The Olmsted Brothers firm of Brookline, Massachusetts, designed the current campus around 1921 when LSU was planning to move its campus from downtown Baton Rouge. The Olmsted firm originally designed the campus for up to 3,000 students, but state officials asked the firm to scale the plan back due to budgetary constraints. Subsequently, the new plan presented to the state by the Olmsted Brothers centered the campus around a cruciform quadrangle similar to the one that exists on campus today. For unknown reasons, the Olmsted Brothers firm was dropped from the project, and an architect named Theodore Link, who was well known for designing Union Station in St. Louis, Missouri, took over the campus master plan. Link collaborated with Wilbert Eisen Trueblood on the project, but remained faithful to the campus that the Olmsted firm had designed. Unfortunately, Link died in 1923 before the plan was completed. New Orleans architects Wogan and Burnett completed Link's work, and the campus was dedicated on April 30, 1926. The first building actually constructed on the present campus was the Swine Palace, the former livestock barn that is now the Riley Theater. Most of the current buildings that occupy the university's quad were completed between 1922 and 1925. Because the original campus was designed to accommodate 1,500 students, space is now at a premium at LSU. During the 1990s, LSU officials created a set of design guidelines that call for all newly constructed buildings to have an Italian Renaissance flavor, architecture and landscape, although the Olmsted firm had originally envisioned a Spanish or Mexican-style design for the university. Link designed the campus with tan stucco walls, red-tiled rooftops, and extensive porticos in an attempt to emulate the architecture of Italian Renaissance architect Andrea Palladio. The design of Hill Memorial Library was loosely based on that of the Boston Public Library, which was the first public library in the U.S. The flanking academic buildings that formed the rest of the quad represented the major disciplines at the university, and the placement was modeled after that of buildings on the University of Virginia's campus, which was designed by Thomas Jefferson. 9 LSU buildings, including the library and the academic buildings for daring and physics, were constructed by George A. Caldwell, a native of Abbeville. Caldwell designed 26 public buildings in Louisiana. The campus is known for the 1,200 live oak trees that shade the ground of the university. During the 1930s, landscape artist Steele Burden planted many of live oaks and magnolia trees, which are now valued at over $50 million. Many of the azaleas, crepe myrtles, ligustrum, and camellias planted in the quadrangle were added to the campus in the 1970s. Through the LSU Foundation's Endow an Oak program, individuals and groups are able to endow live oaks across the university's campus. 57 buildings on the LSU campus are listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and the campus is protected by the State Capitol Historic District legislation. The LSU campus mounds, which are part of a larger mound group spread throughout the state, are located near the northwestern corner of the campus and were built an estimated 5,000 years ago. Campus housing. On-campus housing options include on-campus apartments, Annie Boyd Hall, Evangeline Hall, the Engineering Residential College, the Business Residential College, Broussard, Acadian, Beauregard, Blake, Cypress, Louise Garrick, Hershey, Highland, Jackson, Kirby Smith, Lejeune, McVoy, Miller, Taylor, East Level, and West Level. Other campuses. Other Louisiana State University campuses include the LSU Agricultural Center, Pennington Biomedical Research Center, LSU at Shreveport, LSU Eunice, LSU at Alexandria, Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center Shreveport, and the Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center New Orleans. The University of New Orleans was a member of Louisiana State University from 1958 until 1963 as LSU&O, and under its own name 1963 until 2011 when it was transferred to the University of Louisiana System by the Louisiana legislature. In addition, LSU owns and operates the J. Bennett Johnston Senior Center for Advanced Microstructures and Devices, which is a 1.3 GeV synchrotron radiation facility. Academics, colleges and schools rankings. Louisiana State University is ranked 129th in the National Universities category and 63rd among public universities by the 2015 U.S. News & AMP World Report ranking of U.S. colleges. LSU is also ranked as the 190th best overall university in the nation by Forbes magazine and is featured in the 2011 edition of Princeton Review's Best 371 Colleges Guide. Additionally, U.S. News & AMP World Report ranked LSU as the 16th most popular university in the nation. LSU was listed for academic censure by the National Association of University Professors for its alleged mistreatment of faculty on June 16, 2012. It was also featured as one of the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education's 2016 10 Worst Colleges for Free Speech due to its firing of a professor. Programs that have received recognition within LSU include the following. The E.J. Auerzo College of Business has 2 professional programs ranked by U.S. News & AMP World Report. In 2015, the Public Administration Institute ranked 73rd nationally according to the magazine, and the Flores-Imbar program was ranked 65th nationally. Additionally, LSU students have won the International Student High Achievement Award, an accolade given to students who score the highest possible score on the Certified Internal Auditor exam, 17 times during the last 21 years. In 2007, the Flores-Imbar program was ranked 7th in the nation for attracting corporate Imbar recruiters who recruit regionally by the Wall Street Journal. The LSU College of Engineering undergraduate program was ranked 91st by U.S. News & AMP World Report, while the graduate program was ranked 94th. The Paul M. Hebert Law Center is ranked as the 75th best law school in the nation by the 2010 U.S. News Rankings of Best Law Schools. In 2009, Entrepreneur magazine ranked LSU among the top 12 entrepreneurial colleges and universities in the nation. The university's Robert S. Reich School of Landscape Architecture was ranked No. 1 nationally in undergraduate and No. 2 in graduate programs by Design Intelligence in its 2011 and 2012 editions of America's Best Architecture and AMP Design Schools. The journal has ranked the school in the top 5 since 2004. The LSU College of Education graduate program was ranked 86th in the nation by U.S. News & AMP World Report. The LSU French program, comprising the Department of French Studies and the Center for French and Francophone Studies, is recognized by the Cultural Services Office of the French Ambassador to the United States as of centered excellence, an honor given to only 15 university French programs in the United States, and is ranked as one of the top 20 undergraduate French programs in the nation. The LSU graduate program in Fine Arts is ranked 62nd in the nation by U.S. News & AMP World Report. The LSU graduate program in Library and Information Studies is ranked 27th in the nation by U.S. News & AMP World Report. The LSU School of Social Work is ranked 79th in the nation by the 2015 U.S. News & AMP World Report. SECU Academic Initiative, using its SECU, among which is LSU, the Southeastern Conference sponsors, supports and promotes collaborative higher education programs and activities involving administrators, faculty and students at its 14-member universities through the SEC Academic Initiative. Libraries. LSU's main library collection, numbering almost 3 million volumes, is housed in Troy H. Middleton Library on the main quadrangle of the university. It is both a general-use library and a U.S. Regional Depository Library, housing publications from the federal government, United Nations, and United States Patent and Trademark Office. The LSU libraries belong to the Association of Research Libraries, which includes the top 113 academic libraries in the U.S. and Canada, the Association of Southeastern Research Libraries, LYRASIS, which is a merger of the Southeastern Library Network SOLINET with PALINET, and the Louisiana Academic Library Information Network Consortium. LSU was among the founding members of the Louisiana Online University Information System Network, which provides access to most academic library catalogs in the state. The LSU library's subject strengths include Louisiana materials, sugar culture and technology, Southern history, agriculture, petroleum engineering, plant pathology, natural history, and various aspects of aquaculture including crawfish, wetlands research, and marine biology. LSU Libraries U.S. Regional Depository Library and the U.S. Patent Depository Library collections are housed in Middleton Library. The library has been a depository for federal government publications since 1907 and has a substantial number of U.S. documents issued before and after that time. The library became a regional depository library in 1964. The library was designated an official depository for U.S. patents in 1981. The patent collection includes all patents issued from 1871 to the present. The LSU Library's special collections in Hilm Memorial Library provides a center for research in the humanities, social sciences, and fine arts. The primary strength of special collections resides in the Louisiana and Lower Mississippi Valley collections, an outstanding integrated collection that consists of materials documenting reflecting the history and culture of the region. It provides rare and early imprints pertaining to the exploration and colonization of the region. Books on Louisiana subjects. Books by Louisiana authors. Louisiana State documents. Extensive manuscript collections, which include the personal papers of important individuals in the history of the region, including the long family records of business, professions, and organizations, and extensive photographic collections. Its collections of rare books, dating back to the 15th century, number more than 80,000 volumes and include the E. A. McIlhenny Natural History Collection, which contains many important works in the history of ornithological and botanical illustration, including John James Audubon's Birds of America, Margaret Stone's Flora of Louisiana, and books by Edward Lear, John Gould, Mark Catesby, and Sir Joseph Banks. Museums. The LSU campus houses 8 museums that feature original works by students as well as traveling exhibits by local, national, and international artisans. In addition to the campus museums, LSU currently runs 4 museums in the Greater Baton Rouge area: the LSU Museum of Art, the LSU Museum of Natural History, the LSU Museum of Natural Science, and the LSU Rural Life Museum. LSU Museum of Art. The LSU Museum of Art, located in the Shaw Center for the Arts in downtown Baton Rouge, opened in March 2005. The museum manifests a decade-long vision to offer LSU and the Baton Rouge community greater access to its diverse art collection, changing exhibitions, education programs, and special events. The LSU MOA shares the Shaw Center for the Arts with many cultural partners including the LSU School of Art Gallery, LSU's Laboratory for Creative Arts and Technology, the Manship Theater, and the Community School for the Arts of the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge. LSU MOA first opened in 1962 under the name of the Anglo-American Art Museum in the Memorial Tower on LSU's Baton Rouge campus. The museum and its collection were established through a generous gift to LSU in 1959 from an anonymous donor who wished to support an institution that would illustrate British and continental influences on early American art and culture in the South. The museum's significant collection of American and British portraiture, furniture, and decorative arts grew from this foundation. LSU Museum of Natural Science. The LSU Museum of Natural Science was founded in 1936, when its first director, George H. Lowry, Jr., assembled a few study specimens of birds in a classroom in Audubon Hall. Since its move to Murphy J. Foster Hall in 1950, the museum has continued to expand and is currently one of the nation's largest natural history museums, with holdings of over 2.5 million specimens. Is the only comprehensive research museum in the south-central United States. The LSU Museum of Natural Science fulfills a variety of scientific and educational roles at the university, including the generation of new knowledge in the fields of zoology, archaeology, and paleontology through scholarly research based primarily on natural history collections, collection and preservation of research specimens as a resource for study of the Earth's natural history, education of graduate and undergraduate students in academic areas that are most effectively taught in the museum setting, education of the public by means of exhibits and lecture programs, and assistance to local citizens, wildlife officials, and forensic specialists through identification and consultation services. LSU Rural Life Museum. The LSU Rural Life Museum has been listed as one of the top outdoor museums in the country. The variety of people who settled in Louisiana made significant and lasting contributions to the state's unique culture and heritage. It is one of the few museums that celebrates the day-to-day lives of early Americans, including Native Americans, French and Spanish settlers, Anglo-Americans, Germans, Africans, and Acadians. The Rural Life Museum features several displays and exhibits on the pre-industrial residents of Louisiana. The permanent collection includes tools, utensils, furniture, and farming equipment. The recreated working plantation consists of a complex of buildings authentically furnished to reconstruct all the major activities of life on a typical 19th-century plantation. The museum also serves as a research facility for LSU students engaged in heritage conservation studies. Louisiana Museum of Natural History. In 1999, the 16 natural history collections at Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge were designated by the state legislature as the Louisiana Museum of Natural History. Together, these collections hold a total of more than 2.8 million specimens, objects, and artifacts that document the rich natural history of Louisiana. These collections are dispersed among 6 independently administered units on campus, and include the Vascular Plant Herbarium, the Mycological Herbarium, the Lichen Herbarium, the Louisiana State Arthropod Museum, the Palynology Collection, the Mineralogy and Petrology Collections, the Textile and Costume Museum, the Louisiana Geological Survey Log Library and Core Repository, and, within the LSU Museum of Natural Science, the collection of amphibians and reptiles, the collection of birds, the collection of fishes, the collection of genetic resources, the collection of mammals, the Vertebrate Paleontology Collection, the collection of microfossils and invertebrates, and the Anthropological and Ethnological Collections.